the XOP Odyssey Podcast, where we discuss life from the point of view of people born in the late 1970s to the early to mid 1980s. We discuss growing up analog and navigating adulthood in a digital world. Please come join us as we look to uncover what it actually means to be a XOP.
But I was like, where has the show been? And then, like, let me just reach out and soft ask to be on.
Well, the show itself, and don't mind me, I'm just jacking you up right now, just to see if that's going to help out too. Remy got a new job, so that was one thing. He got fired and then got a new job, and his new job took him everywhere. Like, so it took him to like Fairhaven. It's a big dispensary company that he works for.
So he's traveling all over now.
Yeah. He's mostly out of Taunton right now, but at the same time, like, he has to work Sundays. It just is what it is. I got fired from my job. It is what it is. And then I found this job where I'm doing some of the stuff that I was doing before, and then I'm adding some skills that I didn't have. So I look at the positive that way, like I'm rounding myself out. And at the same time, I mean, the only drawback is I still work Monday through Friday, but it's 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., which is okay. It's just like my internal rhythm is all thrown off.
I hate your schedule because then that takes away that I can have you on our show.
I know. And because I love doing that stuff. But I mean, every now and then I do, as Mike and I were talking about, he will be like, oh shit, Bob's in the comments. Oh, Bob's at work watching the show.
The first thing I said to him today, I was like, Did you get a new job? I've noticed you on 2 weeks in a row.
Nope. I just, I took advantage of being the only one in the building and said, I'm going to set up my phone and I'll still do my work, but I'm still going to just do whatever.
Less work, more focus on the podcast.
Less work, more focus on the Probably Wrong podcast.
We enjoy your commentary.
I enjoy the fact that, not just the shout outs for my ego, but I enjoy even if you disagree, I enjoy the fact that even through a messenger, it's one thing I love about it, all the back and forth is it's entertaining. It's fairly respectful. Like, people can have back and forths, and it's like, okay, all right, whatever. When I bring up to Tony, when I'm like, Tony, like Josh Simmons, watch the tape on Josh Simmons. Like, this guy would have been what everyone says Campbell is, like, until he blew his knee out.
Every week you bring that up, there's a little bit more chance that he's actually going to check it out.
I just do that because if you watch him, have you ever watched him?
I didn't until you brought it up. And now, because I'm making the reels and trying to cut everything in, I've seen more and more tape of him, and I'm like, wow.
He's a monster.
Yeah, guy's. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, like literally October.
Like, Bob's onto something here.
Like, October, the guy blew his knee. He was a top 10 pick, and he was trending this way. I think it kind of hurts him with how the guy who filled in for him did.
Yeah.
I mean, they win a national championship. I mean, and he's an anchor. Like, so people forget about him. And he didn't take part in the combine, but if you're looking for someone, and you're looking to kind of accumulate assets, trade back, draft him, I would love it if they double dipped it on Ohio State.
He just did his own pro day.
Uh-huh.
So, and I sent the tapes to Tony, and he's not a fan because of his bench press. He ripped out 33 reps, but his form was awful, which I learned from Tony, because he sent me other clips of people doing it properly.
Yeah.
And he's like,
that's like stuff my wife could do to like that.
I'm like, just enjoy what he did.
Yeah, but I would say the next thing, watch the game tape, because while I love
his form was off benching, he's out on Simmons. He's back in on Trapello. Is that I say his name wrong?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's my thing. I say everybody's name wrong.
If you're going to go into the second round, I think that's okay. But what I would love for them to do to get really aggressive is I have washed my hands of last year's wide receivers. Like, I'm like, nope, you're lost causes. Polk. Maybe because we have Diggs now, but Baker, you couldn't even get on the field. I'm sorry, young man. You couldn't make people stand out of their wheelchair, so shut the fuck up.
It went downhill as soon as he said that.
Exactly. So I would love it, especially now that they have Diggs, to double dip in the first round and grab Simmons and Ibuka.
100%.
Ibuka in the slot? Come on. I love Pop Douglas.
Do you?
The guy's not going to survive in the NFL.
Is he that good? I think we just love him because he's the only serviceable wide receiver that this team has.
On his best day, he's 5'7". I don't care what they say. On his best day, he's 5'7". Yeah, he has some speed, but once he catches the ball, if it's in the middle of the field, what does he do?
Nothing.
He goes down because he's like, I'm going to get fucking killed. Ibuka, similar to, I'm not saying he's like Stephon Diggs. I'm just saying, like, yeah, he's a slot receiver in the NFL, but you can put him around. He's shown that he can do multiple routes.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he also has shown that, like, he has a willingness to lower his head and be like, no, I'm going to get the extra yard. I would rather have someone like that.
I agree with you.
That said, I saw the Vegas, as of right now, on the Patriots is over under 7.5.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good number.
I'm taking the over.
I'm taking the over too.
Yeah.
I think this is at least.
I think you rode with me last year with the Broncos on the over.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
When these stars align, follow the bet.
I told people he is Mac Jones. He's Mac Jones 2.0, and you gave him a incredible coach for quarterbacks, and you gave him a great solid cast. Yeah. He wasn't asked to do much. He was just asked to not fuck up. Yeah. Like that's Mac Jones. Like if Mac Jones ultimately ever went, like I know he's there now, but if he was drafted to the 49ers initially, he'd been better. He'd be better.
Okay.
I'm not saying like I'm not trying to say he'd be a Pro Bowler.
I thought you were going to reach and go.
He'd be better.
Yeah.
He'd be better.
But the bar's so low. So
I know. Because he's a Jag. He's a Jag. Like you were on the best team in the nation. Literally in that draft, there were like 7 first rounders from Alabama.
And you couldn't catch on in Jacksonville.
No. Especially when Trevor Lawrence got hurt.
That's where I was going.
That was your avenue.
Yep. And he had weapons. That team is full of weapons. They just can't put it together.
All right. So, that's what we're going to do with this episode. We're going to do a lot of stuff. Yes, continue.
Can I go back into something?
Absolutely.
So when we were talking about the Facebook and we do the live show in the back and forth.
Yeah.
You're right. It's like respectable. We go back and forth. And then I had brought up the other day the TikTok.
Uh-huh.
That the people on there, I don't get it. How mean they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you chimed in with like the
YouTube.
The YouTube, the people. Like, there's a back and forth. You know how many people on YouTube have been like, oh, yeah, I didn't see that part. Oh, yeah, I agree. Like,
yeah.
There's logical people out there.
The Diddy episode that we did.
Yep.
Somebody commented, whatever, it's fine. They focused on the Stanley Kubrick, the Eyes Wide Shut part of it. And we're like academically like challenged things, which is fine. Like I was just like, could you give me and they did. And so I watched it and I was like, all right, thank you. Like, all right, that was something you brought to my attention. Thank you. But I was like, and I didn't say it to them, but I was like, I mean, it was one part of a parallel we're trying to draw to something that's going on right now, but okay, whatever. That's what you took out of it.
People always key into, like, that's not even what we were talking about.
I know.
How did you get that?
I know. But that's also about human nature. One thing I love about human nature is that, like, we could, if we were doing this live and someone would say something about, I don't know, like, I'm glad you got rid of the glare on the back of this like record. I'd be like, I do. It takes me a long time to do that. Thank you. But no, the respect for this. I have never been on TikTok. I have seen TikToks, but I can imagine what kind of cesspool it is.
So honestly, I don't even manage our own TikTok.
Yeah.
My daughter takes care of that for me.
Which one?
My daughter, Ariana, the second oldest.
Okay. All right.
So she takes care of that for me. She uploads everything. And even sometimes she's like, Dad, some of these people. I'm like, yeah.
These people are terrifyingly like scary. Like,
and
it's like,
she's even telling me, she's like, stop going back and forth with them.
That's, and the only time, and by the way, because it does count as social media. I don't know if you ever use it. I know I've asked you before. The Bleacher Report, about a month and a half ago, they updated their app. And
I haven't noticed it.
You cannot, you cannot reply to people. You can't see replies. You don't get alerts for it.
That's perfect.
And on the one hand, yes, it is. But I enjoyed the banter on that. Like, because you and I have talked about this. I consider myself a level-headed Patriots fan. Like, I live in reality. But people on there are delusional, and I like to ruin their delusion because
banter is one thing. Like, I can go back and forth with banter, but I'm just like, and they're just mean.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to find a better, but no, it's just like, what are you doing? Like,
and I do like trolling those people.
Just keep it moving.
I have always been one that trolls those people on like Bleacher Report.
They don't come back though. Like the people who really like
the ones that are evil,
try to throw the evil dagger at you.
I just beat them with kindness. That's all. Like I just like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way. I mean, we're just talking about sports.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what? I should reply more like that. You know, that's good.
Yeah. It does diffuse certain people, and even if people come in hot, it's a way to get to the conversation.
Yeah.
Because I do that stuff on Facebook sometimes, like when I talk about certain things, and it's just about like I'm not coming at this to like middle finger you. I'm just like saying, this is my point, like counterpoint it, and let's see if we can find some common ground. And People don't want to do that a lot.
No. And especially because you never understand the tone. It's like text message, right? Like if something's deep in text message, you don't want to do it.
Are you mad? I'm just texting. Like,
yeah. What is it? The Key and Peele. You ever see that skit, the text skit? Yeah. I'm like, they nailed it perfectly.
So if I can, going back to 2 years, it's pretty much been 2 years.
Yeah.
How much has happened in that 2 years? The New England Patriots they're on their third head coach since then.
They still suck.
Yeah, and they do. And they do. I would argue they suck even worse. Like the bar got even lower.
But there's promise for the season.
There is.
There's a little hope going into it. So
there is. What is your feeling on Vrabel? And if I may, because this is my take, I kind of think he's very similar to like a Jim Harbaugh kind of coach. He can get the most out of players, but he burns out fast.
Yes. Because
I think that's like, if you're looking to rebuild this thing, you should be ready for the next coach to come in once it's stable.
Everyone goes gaga over him right now, and I get it because we just had Mayo.
Yeah.
But last year when they were looking at him, I didn't really want him.
No.
Because I'm like, he's at the end of the day that this is a guy that can get you there into the playoffs, but he's not proven that he can get you further without any of the star talent.
Right.
And I'm really destroying this with the microphone.
No,
I'm trying hard, Bob.
No, keep going. Try.
But I've yet to see him be able to do anything without a Derrick Henry and an A.J. Brown. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now he's going to come into this situation, and he's putting together some great team around him, but is he the guy that's going to win you the championship?
I don't think so.
No. And that's it. Like, like you just said, what's going to be next? Because eventually this guy is going to burn out, and we're going to get tired of not have a great regular season. We get there, and we just can't get over the top. And maybe Drake May's that guy. I'm not quick to crown him yet.
No, me neither. Don't get me wrong. He showed a lot. By the way, like, because I think appropriately against the Tennessee Titans. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was a game, an entire game. I mean, the highlight is that one play, but an entire game of him literally putting a team on his back.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see.
Like, that was the first game where everyone, I think, what's it been, 2 or 3 years before you go watch a Patriots game and actually jump up at the end and go,
excited.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It was awesome. It felt good.
He needs to learn when to get down.
Yes.
Because he will never be Josh Allen. He's not physically built like Josh Allen.
See, this is why I differ with people.
I just mean physically, like to take the beating that like Josh Allen.
Because height and weight, he's
on the level. Yeah. It's just if you see them, like, I don't know, like when I see them next to each other, like even though their comparables are similar, I'm like, Josh Allen just looks like thicker.
He's a wily veteran. He knows how to pose for the camera.
Yeah.
You know, he knows he's standing back. Here we go.
But even I put the concussion he had. That was on him.
Yes.
That was on him. Like, just slide down.
Everybody knows he can learn that.
Everybody knows once you go into that slide, if they hit you, it's 15 extra yards. So, and Patrick Mahomes masters stuff like that. And that's one of the things that makes him great. That stuff doesn't piss me off about Patrick Mahomes. Like, no, that stuff, I'm like, no, that if Brady did that, people would be, he's the greatest ever. Like,
but I can understand how it frustrates people, but at the same time, I'm like, are you a Brady fan? Yeah, then it shouldn't bother you.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he was the master of manipulating all the rules.
Yep.
And you're just mad that somebody else is doing it.
How do you feel about the Super Bowl, by the way? I think it's the first time in Mahomes' career where we saw that he may be at a point where, like similar to Brady, can't do it all by himself.
Yes.
Yeah. And kudos to the Eagles and how they built their team. Yeah. That defensive line was incredible.
Oh, and they built it for one sole purpose, and it worked.
Yeah, and I love Joe Thuney.
Yeah.
I think Joe Thuney is someone who could be in the Hall of Fame someday. And he can sometimes play left tackle for you, but he's not a left tackle.
No.
So, and that on the worst stage.
Yeah.
Came out on the worst stage. That.
I mean, I wanted to see a three-peat. And I know a lot of people around here, obviously it's the Chiefs. They don't want it hurt the Patriots' legacy. I just, as a football fan, I'm like, when are we going to get to see that? That was the closest we've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to see. Eagles won. I like Hurts. I like Barkley. I was happy, but I wanted to see that three-peat.
I like a team that will go for it.
Yeah.
That's why I like the Eagles, because they will be like, well, okay, whatever. Yeah. Like we're this close now, mortgage to the future to win a championship now. I wish the Crafts were like that, to be honest with you. And instead they take the the model for their businesses that have made them very, very successful, and they try to translate it to the NFL, and they still try to do it. And I think it is the gauge has gone. That just means the battery died. So we'll just keep going. It's fine. So I could see it blinking, so I knew that was going to happen. But whatever, it is. So
we don't have to look that way anymore.
No. We can just talk like this. But the needle has gone a tiny bit like that. Oh, Brady probably played a big role. No, yeah, he played a big role.
Oh, huge role.
You hit the lottery. Yeah. That's what it is. You hit the lottery. There were other things. I do want to give Belichick credit. I hope I did 2 years ago when we talked that I just felt like it was time.
Yeah.
I don't want to take away his greatness.
No.
But it was time. And I think that their model worked because they had the greatest coach and they had the greatest quarterback of that time.
100%.
Yeah.
I'll always say this with Belichick. He was a defensive mastermind.
Mm-hmm.
He understood what to do. That was it. But when it came to the offense, I always felt that it was Brady. Because we witnessed it. So it's not even a debate.
Yeah.
Once he's gone, he had no idea what to do offensively anymore.
Yeah. And I really do think if they didn't fire him, he was just gonna I'll eke out 4 wins a year until I pass Shula.
Yeah.
And then I will sail off into the sunset. Yep. And it's like, okay, that's why I was like, I want to get rid of him now because that puts off the team potentially getting better longer.
Yes.
And then what they did is they just gave it to Mayo because they put it into his contract.
Yeah.
To a way to circumvent the Rooney Rule. Okay, I get it. That's fine. But what we also saw was, I think a couple things. I think Mayo is done as a coach in the NFL.
Yes, this destroyed him.
And I feel for him in that regard.
Yeah.
But the things that you hear behind the scenes, he kind of did himself no favors. So it's tough.
We talk about it. We had talked about it ad nauseum on the show. The guy, you never knew who you were going to get.
Right.
He played the fence, and you can't. First off, you shouldn't do that anywhere. It drives me crazy. But here in New England, you cannot say one thing and then do another, and then the next week say another thing and then do another.
And he did it every single week.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
No.
And then you kind of try to lead grown men. They're going to see through that bullshit.
Nope. You're right.
You know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And he could have been a player's coach. He could have been in a better situation, but he needed to work his way up. Being thrown in that late. He got through in the fire and it ate him alive.
He would have benefited from a couple years ago actually going to another team.
Yes.
And just getting to know. Because the one thing I'll give Vrabel as the way he constructed his staff is, number one, he worked for Houston. Yep. He worked in Tennessee. He was a player. And he played in Pittsburgh, New England, and in Kansas City. And last year he was in Cleveland.
Don't forget with the Browns.
Yeah, he was with the Browns. He is someone who's been everywhere, essentially. So he has been around a lot of people. And if you see his staff, now granted, a lot of them had worked with him in some form or another, but they'd all gone other places. It's a very diverse staff.
The one thing that I'm hoping for this year that's giving me light with him is that he learned from his prior mistakes.
I agree too.
And I think the way that he's constructing this team, it kind of scared me a little bit because he was still defense over everything when we have these glaring problems. So
where are the top 7 needs? 1 or 2 maybe defense. The 1 through 5 is offense. Yeah. Go.
So we'll see. I don't know. This Diggs thing, it will eventually work. I like Diggs.
It eventually works, and then it'll eventually burn out.
Exactly.
That's just the cycle.
So,
and I'm okay with that.
That's why they need something else. This is where I'm waiting to see what Vrabel does. Is he going to get another wide receiver? There's still a couple out there that will be great. I think you brought up
Keenan Allen. Especially if you have Diggs.
Yeah. Either the 3 out there: Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, and Tyler Lockett.
People forget this. Keenan Allen on what ended up being a shit show in Chicago. 70 catches.
Yeah, he still did his job.
Yep. And you saw how much it hurt. Yeah. How much it hurt Herbert.
Yes.
Without having him as a safety blanket.
Yeah.
Kudos. I love, and as a side to this too, I love the fact that we have Jim Harbaugh back in the NFL.
Yeah.
I love it. Great strides that first season. I want to see them go further. I understand why he moved on from players like Keenan Allen, but I think that they could have had a little bit of a better showing against Houston. They still would have lost, but it could have been better. I mean, that was, once we got halfway through the third quarter, it was just fuck me.
Well,
this game isn't even
what is going on here?
Yeah. It's Herbert threw another interception. Oh, look at that.
Throwing 4, right?
And Stroud and
Stroud didn't even look good.
No.
It took him until he finally found Nico Collins, and then they started to gel.
He'll have a bounce back here. I think he'll have a bounce back here. Yeah. I think that was that was as much about sophomore slump as it was the league getting tape on him in the league. And him and was it Tank the one who got hurt?
Yes.
For like, it was about what, 6 weeks?
No, he got hurt later in the season. He got hurt right before the playoffs.
Crunch time.
It was Diggs who got hurt in week 8.
Oh yeah, and he was out.
Yeah. But did you notice? So with Diggs, I think what hurt that team, and this is what worries me about him coming here, is that Stroud was forcing it to Diggs.
Yep.
And I know that because of one, I had Nico Collins on my fantasy team. He exploded once Diggs went down. But as you saw, they didn't start out great.
Yeah.
And they started, once Diggs went down and Tank Dell was healthy and that team started to go, that's when they started to move.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what worries me about Diggs coming here. I mean, if he's the Diggs that you saw his first season in Minnesota, his first season in Buffalo, we're going to have a little bit of early success with him. But
I don't worry about it as much with the Patriots, only because Stroud already had those existing relationships with Collins and they were there. And then you throw in this receiver, and then it throws that off. Whereas the Patriots are just so barren that it's like, whatever.
True.
Whatever. So Hunter Henry gets less looks. I actually think that's better for Hunter Henry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Hunter Henry. I just think that like when he's your number 1 and 1B options, like that's...
No, 1B is Austin Hooper. Yeah. Don't forget that 1A.
Well, I think he's 1C.
Okay,
I think he became 1C. You know, Hunter Henry basically became 1A, 1B, and then Hooper was 1C.
All I know is if you play fantasy, when Diggs come back, you got to pick him up because he's getting 27 targets a game.
Yes, he is. Yep. So I think it's all right. I want to talk about the NBA.
It's my favorite sport.
And what I want to talk about, and I wish I had it queued up ready to go. Wish we had the video for this part because I wanted to go back to kind of one of the reels that I made. It was the one because I actually combined them. And it was the one where I asked you if more owners were going to start to jump out, because of the just the price of running a team going up. But then also it was tied into the Jaylen Brown is the Derek Zoolander of the NBA.
Yes.
So what we've learned since you came on is, number one, he became kind of less of Derek Zoolander, at least for one postseason. And I want to give him his flowers because that he was awesome in the postseason.
Yes. Yep.
We've seen a little bit of regression to him, back to normal. I'll say back to his normal.
Yes.
So he's still back
can't
to
dribble.
Yeah, still can't go left.
Yeah.
But I will give you your flowers, Jaylen, because
we couldn't have won it without him.
No, we couldn't have. No, he did, and people get mad like because Jason Tatum is the star of the team. But I'm like, but he wasn't the best player. Like
when it counted, he was.
When it counted, he was. But what I love is those sound bites from the NBA Finals where you saw an exhausted Jaylen Brown saying, "Oh, is Luka going back out there? All right. Put me back in. No, I don't care. But you need a break. No, put me on him."
Because he knew, they all knew the Luka game plan.
Mm-hmm.
And Luka is an amazing offensive talent.
It's a shame that the other three teams, the 3 teams they played before that couldn't
they were young. They were young. You know,
OKC, absolutely.
OKC, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Minnesota had a chance to finish him off, and they couldn't do it.
On the ropes.
Yeah.
So, really what I want to go back to is, number one, are you surprised that the Grosbecks put the team up for sale after the championship?
I was surprised until you dug a little bit, until everything came out and you realize, oh, wait, it's not Wick's team.
Wick only owns like 3%, but his dad.
Billy Anthony, his dad was like, you are going crazy with my money.
Yeah.
We can't keep this sustainably continue to do this. Like, let's pull the cord and get out of here.
I agree. Yep.
Smart man. Very smart.
Yeah. You know what? What did they buy the Celtics for? Wasn't it something like $200 million 20 something years ago? And you turn that into $6.3 billion?
Ridiculous overpayment.
It is. Yeah. It is. And I applaud.
Yeah.
And for anyone who would be wondering, why is that an overpayment? I will put it this way. Delaware North. That's why it's an overpayment. Yep. Delaware, they play in a building owned by Delaware North. The concessions are provided by Delaware North. They play in a city where it is almost impossible to build your own arena. It is going to, and I know that's probably something the new ownership will look to do.
Yeah.
But
like, where are they going to go? Where could you go?
There's red tape, there's red ribbons, and then there's red rope. But you're going through red rope.
But of anything, like I hear people go, oh, they're going to build a stadium. This, I go, where?
Yeah.
Like it's not going to be in Boston.
No,
it can't be. And the worst thing for us is it's going to be North Shore.
Yes, like if they put it by the casino, because that's a rumor.
Yeah.
And I would say, how is that infrastructure right now?
Awful.
It's awful for the casino that's been there for It's heading on 10 years.
They want you to get there by boat.
Yeah. I used to have to drive
there. And there's not enough boats.
I used to have to drive that way when I at my previous job. And from Fall River, it would take me almost 3 hours to get to Revere.
It's ridiculous.
I'm sorry.
Even when you just get off the highway.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, it's just as bad because it's like gridlocked minor highways. Yeah. And so that's one thing. I mean, maybe you could sell us on Metro West but that's going to come with its own headaches anyway. And even putting it south of the city comes with its own headaches. Like everywhere comes with headaches.
We could probably get there. I know.
And with the new train lines, so I live a mile from one of the train lines.
Oh
now. Yeah. So I can literally. So for example, all of us that are going to the Red Sox game on Patriots Day, one of my friends lives in Acushnet, and he was asking me, "Are the New Bedford lines going to be open?" And I said, "They are." I said, "But do you want
how you were his source of information if the New Bedford trains were going to be open?"
Yeah, because I actually was paying attention to like stuff. So I said, "It is, but do you want to ride on a train by yourself for like 40 minutes, or you just want to drive 20 minutes to where I am, and we just literally we could walk there and get on the train, and then literally the next stop is East Taunton, and then somebody else is getting on the train there, and the next one is Middleborough, someone's getting on the train there, everybody else is getting on in Bridgewater, so it's like." We're just like the ones that like the welcome wagon to everybody.
I just hate taking the train.
I
used to have to do it early in my apprenticeship for work, and I hated it.
Was it from out here? Or would you go to Braintree?
I'd go to Braintree and take it.
I mean, I used to go to Braintree too, and that, I mean.
The guy's like, just take it in the South Station. I go, but yes, but then I have to like walk to the next one.
Yeah.
Or run, you know.
That's a good way to put it, run.
I don't want to do that. I want to drive to the job site and drive. Yeah, I get it. It's traffic, but it's just if I miss the train, if it's too busy, it drives me crazy.
I'm a big fan of the train for Patriots Day because it's Marathon Monday. Yeah. That's the only way. I have some friends who are like, "Oh yeah, we're just going to drive in." And I said, "Bless your hearts." Like
I would be that guy.
I'm like, "Bless you're going to drive all the way to Fenway?" Okay. All right. And then I said to my friend, because the only question, like my friends were like, "Well, what do we do from there?" And I said, "It depends on where you want to go. Do you want to get off at Kenmore Square or do you want to get off at the ballpark?"
Yeah.
It's just about figuring out from South Station, like where to go.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's convenient right now, right? Now throw in another arena and how long are they gonna take to build a line to that?
It would never happen.
It would never happen. No. Yeah, that was the point of that.
And again, that's why we will probably go up there, next to, he almost called it the Marriott, to the what's the name of the casino?
Oh, it's Wynn. No,
Wynn.
It was Wynn. And is it still Wynn? I don't know if it's Wynn. Wynn had that whole issues. It was a Wynn. Wynn was the one who built it. Well, just call it Wynn.
That's why they'd want to go there because, no train. You can't get there. Water.
Yeah.
That's it. That's they're
water taxis.
How many commercials do you hear? Like, that's how they always keep selling it. And again, you miss the boat. It's 20 minutes to the next one.
Yep. And if you, by the way, like where I live, if you miss a train, it's 90 minutes for the next train. So it's like, beware. I mean, what I could do is I know the train routes. So I could just be like, all right, I can just drive up to East Taunton real quick.
Yeah.
And catch the train. Like, okay, that's cool. Or I could catch 2 trains because it's East Taunton's like a depot.
Yeah.
It's right by the old Silver City Galleria. So like that's where the New Bedford line goes, and where the Fall River line, they meet up, and then you'd have to.
Is it in the Silver City Galleria?
No, it's if you were to get off of 24 and get onto 140, it's basically right. Well, there's the new exit. I don't know if you know about the new exit.
Well, I saw all the construction there. I didn't know exactly what the hell they were doing.
So it's the new. If you're going southbound, it's a new ramp, so you don't have to do that big loop-de-loop.
Ah, okay.
So you can just go down that ramp, and if you just basically go kind of.
Also, they made it convenient.
Yes. Yeah.
It took them to get rid of the mall to make it convenient.
I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah. A mall, by the way, that served I mean, you could say Brockton to New Bedford to people in Attleboro.
I can still remember when it first opened going there because it was the new big thing.
I mean, if we go with the Zennial route, that a big thing about people our age is malls.
Yeah.
And
huge.
Malls, they don't exist anymore. And that there's a part of me that has died inside because of that. Because
we would go there every day after school.
Yeah.
We would sneak around, find the tunnels underneath.
Mm-hmm.
We were true mall rats.
Mm.
It was, and I don't regret any of it.
Oh.
My buddy's car burned down in the parking lot. Gotta get in the call over the loudspeaker.
Paging someone whose car's on fire.
Well, the best is they found a bag of weed and they blamed the fire on that.
Of course they did.
And
of course they did.
How did that? Okay. All right.
So, I don't know. Is there realistically anywhere kind of around the city that it makes sense to build an arena?
No, I have no idea. I mean, at one point you could have put it in Southie, in that area where they just tore down the big
like the seaport
house and everything right there. But even that's a nightmare. I don't know what they're going to do. That's why I'm like, how did you pay to get back to the price that we kind of went away from there? 6.3, and you can't move it.
Yeah, and you're locked into essentially something that's going to lose you money, because you could argue if you paid that much money and you still had ticket revenue and you had other revenue and you could use the building when, like, the way the Jacobs used the Garden, like,
and not just that, Bob, you're locked into a team now that there's no way around it. You're eventually going to disappoint all the fans
and dismantle. Yep, because you're going to have to dismantle it at some point. Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a million people to support Brown, and it looks like he would be the key piece to leave. I don't know. It's a tough one to buy.
It is. That's why you hope that they can still strike while the iron's hot and they can win another title, because that is something that also happened between now and when you were on the last time. We were talking about, can this team get over the hump? And they did.
Yeah.
And they did. And if they are truly a great team, then you hope that they've learned how to win.
And they'll do it again this year.
Yeah. And have you been worried about the regular season? Because I haven't.
Yes, because I get worried that the way that they play offense and just relax, like the other night against San Antonio, where you just shot a million threes, I still get worried that is going to carry over into the playoffs. Now, last year it didn't, but that's just me with my team, that I'm worried that they're going to get in there. They're going to fall in love with the three again. They're going to get lackadaisical on defense, and then they're going to implode.
Yeah.
And that's what still, until they win it again, is going to bother me about this team.
Yep. The only thing that actually does worry me is, and it's always going to worry me, is Porzingis.
Yes.
Because, I mean, just love him, but, you know, he shows about, it's a body at the limit of what bodies can handle as far as, like, height, like growing. Like,
against the Spurs the other night, he made a great block and fell to the ground. And,
then you're like, oh boy, he's out
he's out.
He's out till round 2.
Yeah. Because defensively, the guy he can't slow down.
No.
So I think that's
he's a runaway train.
Gravitates everybody around here to him, is that he plays hard.
Yeah.
Constantly. He is, I think, I hate to say it, but the one player on that team that always gives you maximum effort.
Yes.
And that also comes with, he's going to hurt himself.
Yep. And I would say that Horford is similar, but he's not anymore.
Yeah.
Because of his age. He physically can't be. So what you see is him trying to and hopefully mastered the ability to keep the reserves in the tank.
I think he has. I think he's the guy that has figured it out over his years.
Yeah. Yeah. And kudos to him. He was, by the way, that was the thing I was the happiest about when they won the title.
That he came back?
That he won, that he got to win a title.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this is one of those guys where, like, I don't care who you root for. You should feel good about, like, that Al Horford won an NBA title.
Because, I mean, I know it sounds stupid to say that he's a true professional, but he is a true professional, like in every sense of the word.
He had to deal with the Kyrie Irving years.
Yeah.
Until he said, I'm out. And then he had to go deal with Philadelphia.
And then said, I'm done with this
guy.
crap.
Yeah, exactly. And then did he go to Dallas?
No, it was OKC.
Oh, OKC, yeah. So he went to the Thunder.
And then got traded back here.
And probably at that point was like, well, you know, if Kyrie was never here, I never would have left.
Yeah.
Which is a sad reality.
And we talk about this on our show too. Like Kyrie Irving, I don't want to say he got a bad rap because he got everything that was coming to him the way he was acting.
Much like you said about Gerard Mayo, like you can't say one thing and then do something else.
Like you have to think, and I know Tony talks about this all the time on the show, that there had to have been something in his personal life happening. Because the way that he is in Dallas, it kind of makes you root for the guy again.
Yeah. I will never take this away from Kyrie Irving, and I know a lot of people have said this. He is arguably one of the 3 greatest handlers in NBA history.
Yeah.
I feel very confident saying that. I dare say he's one of the 2 greatest.
Who? And then you got to think, who would you put ahead of him?
I mean, and that's where it gets tough because I mean, like,
yeah. Now I put you on the spot. If
you're
gonna put him on 3, who's 2 and 1?
I know. I love Magic Johnson. I know he doesn't play the same role.
Yeah.
But like when he was put in that role, I think Magic Johnson could do everything.
But he couldn't.
Could he cross people up like him? Absolutely not. I'm always going to go, you know me, because I talk about it when we talk about Caitlin Clark, Pistol Pete. Pistol Pete is just he was so far ahead of his time, but he couldn't do it on his own.
But none of these guys, Bob, can control that ball like Kyrie does.
And that's the linchpin. This is me trying to be diplomatic. I don't want to just like go right out there for the hot take of being like he's the greatest ball handler.
No, because I just still don't believe he's number one. There is a true number one. And he was in my younger days, your younger days too, Allen Iverson.
Oh yeah. The answer.
With that ball. You couldn't take it from him.
He crossed up Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
There is a highlight reel if people want to go find it. He broke Michael Jordan's ankles. He did. And you know what? Find me someone else that broke Michael Jordan's ankles. And
Kobe Bryant.
And game one against the Lakers.
Bryant.
Yes. Yeah. Game one against the Lakers in the 2001 NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Like Allen Iverson, that's one of the greatest performances in NBA history. And
took a team literally on his back.
A team that had no business being there and got them a win in the NBA Finals. Like and that step back.
Yeah.
And just like standing
over Tyronn Lue.
Yeah, it's just awesome. Like
I still have that shirt somewhere. I gotta dig that up now.
Yeah. We were lucky. We've been lucky in our lives because some people would say Bob Cousy. Like, and I would say as a distributor, he's arguably
he could dribble too, Bob.
I know he could. Yeah. I know he could. But him distributing the ball.
At the time, he was their version of what we have now with Kyrie.
Yes.
Is that guy, but people want to. If he dribbled that way nowadays...
Oh, bye. Stolen, going the other way. Jaylen Brown, stealing it again, going the other way.
Look at this guy not palming the ball.
Yeah.
we're
look at him. He's literally using his fingertips. Yeah. Oh, look at that. He's literally using his fingertips and his wrist. That's all. No, and it's I think to be I think younger people, they don't have enough respect for the history of the game. Of the NBA because they're prisoners of the present. I get why they're prisoners of the present.
Yeah.
To some degree, we all are. Like, I roll my eyes when people do the LeBron Jordan debate because I just go, well, it's whatever. Like,
there is a debate, but it's a different, and I tell you all the time, LeBron is the greatest right now.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Jordan was the greatest then.
Yes, he is.
You put them against each other now?
Who knows? Most people take this angle for LeBron. He couldn't play in like the 80s, all that. I would love to have seen him play in the 80s. I really would.
He would dominate.
I really would. I would love to see him take on the bad boy Pistons.
He would dominate them because Bill Laimbeer and Rick Mahorn were their biggest guys. And you put them, a picture of Bill Laimbeer and Rick Mahorn next to a LeBron James with his shirt off. LeBron James towers over them. It's not the same thing. Michael Jordan, we love him. He was, to me, the greatest basketball player that ever played the game. He was amazing. He was not a physical specimen.
No.
Not at all.
No.
Like, you put him next to some of these guys now, and it doesn't compare.
And you have to, as much as I agree with you and I love that, you have to acknowledge that having Scottie Pippen makes your job easier.
Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum.
Exactly, yeah. And some people go, I'm like, do people forget Scottie Pippen did make the 50th anniversary team? He was one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. Like, he was the reason that the Portland Jailbreakers got to a conference final. Single-handedly at the age of 35, 36.
Yeah.
Like I'm sorry. I know a lot of people would say, oh, bandwagon stuff. No, like in the early 90s, love watching the Bulls. I love watching it for the dynamic of that team. Not? Steve Kerr, who you leave him alone. He's gonna kill you.
John Paxson.
Yep.
I loved Horace Grant.
I was going to say Horace Grant.
I actually have his jersey in my collection.
And his goggles. Some people would look at the goggles and go like, well, whatever. I saw those and I said, it's on. It's on. Here we go. So I know I brought it up on your show. I think ultimately Luka going to the Lakers is great for the NBA.
Oh, 100%.
In the short term, it fucking is a kick to his nuts. Yeah, because he lost out on the Supermax.
Yeah.
And he's going to some place with a much higher tax bracket than Texas. And so I'm sure he'll make up for that.
It's better for what the kids say now. It's his brand.
Yeah, exactly.
It's definitely...
His brand is definitely going to flourish.
Yeah.
But it's just that the fact that like in a year, he could have made 370. I heard something absurd. Yeah, it was something absurd. And now it's like...
They weren't going to pay him though, Bob.
The Dallas wasn't going to pay him.
No.
And do I dare say it looks like they are dismantling that team on purpose?
Well, what happens is they just don't want to pay players the big money.
No.
Jalen Brunson.
They're the great. They're the great image
Equalizer.
of what I was asking you about 2 years ago, really. Our owner's going to get to that point where they don't want to, they're just like, no.
Because they're not all wick playing with their dad's money.
Right.
Because I strongly believe if Jaylen Brown was on any other team and it came down to the max contract, he wouldn't still be there.
Right.
But because Wick, you know.
It kind of makes me want to get the Saudis. We need more Saudi owners. People with like literal Scrooge McDuck money.
And that's why they don't really want them to take over a team because of that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things set in place to block it, like what's happening right now with the guy. His name escapes me right now, but they're having problems because his stake in the team is only 15%, and whatever that group is, it's 20%, and that's not allowed because
it's conflict.
Yeah,
legally, it's a conflict of interest. I actually looked up because every now and then I look up like the wealthiest people. They call them the wealthiest people, but then they never put the Saudis on there because I know they're one family, so you have to count it as like one family. And
you're gonna have to edit that out. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. First off, I mean, we're never gonna know, but they say they estimate that the family itself is in the trillions.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can see why they started their own golf league. I can see why they're getting into U.S. Sports because for them it's like, well, what do? We just sit here with money? No, let's build the brands. Let's diversify our portfolio.
And they have endless.
Yes.
Endless.
And thus far, they have shown that they're not like just going to buy it and do nothing. They're like, no, we're going to grow it. We're going to grow it, which means they, in theory, would grow the NBA and would grow the way the contracts aren't as they're kind of mitigated. Which is this is my way of bringing me around to what are your thoughts on the new owner of he's the new principal owner?
Yeah.
Of the Celtics.
Long pause here.
That's fine.
I think they're going to be all right because no matter what, this team is going to end up being broken apart. And these guys are just going to, I don't know if you want to say expedite it, but it's not their fault. And we all have these grand, what's it called? The grand illusion of there's a word.
I know what you're talking about because what you're getting at is we all think that like they think like we do.
Yeah.
Or they see it like we do.
Yeah.
We can't bring up the band.
Yeah. And then like, oh, well, Spags would have done it. Oh, and now they're thinking of if Bezos would have done it, they would have. No. It's all about making money. We're fans. They're not. They're about making money. And this team eventually is going to start costing money.
Yep.
So it's not going to last. So I'm happy that I think they'll let it run a year or two, maybe three.
Let it roll. If you're extremely lucky, you had a shot at a three-peat, or you've at least won 2 of the last 3 championships, and take it, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And is it fair to say that's probably at best the model for the NBA right now?
Yes, and the good thing about this team is there's no track record. If the Fenway Group would have bought this team, we're immediately be exactly, because we see what they do to teams. So with this, there's there's still a little glimmer of hope. They're not going to immediately destroy it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of the Fenway Group, what are your thoughts on the? I don't think we've really touched upon the Red Sox when you were on a year and a half ago. They didn't deserve it.
There was nothing to talk about.
They didn't deserve it. Do they deserve it now?
Yes.
All right. I'm glad.
You're going to a game this year.
I am going. First time.
Our whole crew's going to a game this year.
The last time I went to a Red Sox game was my bachelor party, 2016 in Toronto, at the Sky Dome, on a humid day. Terrifying place to sit in the last row.
Yeah.
On a humid day. It's all concrete and humidity in concrete.
Yeah.
Very slick. So to go down to go to the bathroom or concessions was a life. You're taking your life in your own hands.
And that's pretty far away though. I mean, how do you could you see anything?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm taking it. You've never been to?
No.
It's an awesome place too.
Yeah. If I go by what I see on TV, if you're sitting all the way up there, I'm like, man, that's...
No, it's still got decent sight lines. You can still see everything. And the dome was open, so you could see downtown Toronto.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Toronto, I will always tell people, like, if you ever get a chance, like, you have to go. If you're ever going to go to Canada, go to Toronto. It is the New York City of Canada.
Yeah.
And one of the great things that they have there that I wish we had more of in the United States is you don't have to hit a button if you're at a crosswalk. It's just this is how it works. This lane goes, that lane goes, everybody in crosswalks goes, repeat. It's just built into the system.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't we have that here? Like it just seems like a simple thing. And
there's a lot of stuff that you'd be like, why don't we have that here?
It's efficient. And the other thing about Toronto is they do not care about their history. And what I mean by that is they don't give a shit about like the old school buildings. Like if you go there, you're like, damn, this is a modern city. Like they will tear it down and build it back up. And when I went there, I flew in on a twin engine propellered plane. It was like an 80-person plane. It was big, but they have their own airport in Lake Ontario. And so you land on this island and then you get into this elevator, you go underneath the lake, you're walking, and then you get in this other elevator and you emerge in downtown Toronto.
That's pretty cool. Don't they have an underground mall there too?
Yes. Yep. Oh, that's where the Hockey Hall of Fame is. Yeah, it's the old Bank of Canada, because that's one of the things I told all my friends that I wanted to do was go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. And so when you go there, it's an indoor mall. It's 2 levels. So the top levels are above ground, and then the couple levels are below ground, and then you keep going down, and then you're in the Hockey Hall of Fame.
That's pretty awesome. Toronto is on my list of, so when I retire, that is my goal, to get an RV and hit everywhere.
Have you
and that's on my list.
How many Hall of Fames have you been to?
2.
2? Which ones?
Cooperstown and Springfield.
Cooperstown is the creme de la creme to me. The Baseball Hall of Fame is the greatest Hall of Fame of all North American sports. It is. I've been to the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's decent. I mean, it's Springfield.
That's nice. Yeah, I was gonna say it's absolutely awful.
You know, it's it's decent, and I'm an overseller. So if I say decent, it's mid. I've been to the Hockey Hall of Fame. I was disappointed. However, in the retirement room where all the plaques are, and where they keep the Stanley Cups and everything, it is the old bank. Yeah. So it is a vault.
Oh, that's pretty.
So when you walk in the room, it's beautiful. But then to go into the rooms where like the Conn Smythe and the original chalice for the Stanley Cup and all the retired rings, which they stretch out, like is in the vault. It's in the vault. And like there's no other thing that's like that. And I figure for when Tom Brady goes in, that'll be my reason for going to Canton. I will go there so I can say I've gone to, for the 4 major sports, that I've then gone to all 4 major sports Hall of Fames.
I need to go to Cooperstown again. I think when my son becomes older and hopefully gets into baseball, that's a trip I want to go, because I don't really remember it, because I went there, I forget when I was there, but we discovered happy hour. And it was a very drunk 3 days. I don't remember much. I remember at one time trying to take a plaque off the wall.
Oh boy!
If I recall, that didn't end correct. That didn't end well.
It did well. Was it alarmed?
No, it was George Brett. It was. I wanted to get that, and I have a good plaque little glimmers of that, and
it's a good plaque to get. I was 10. My father packed my brother Tim and I into his red Mazda pickup truck. I don't know if you remember the red Mazda.
Yes, I do.
That thing, everybody in my family drove that thing. So he packed my brother and I in there.
It's funny, when you said that, I instantly went back in time.
Boom, going way back when. So we drove. This was a day trip. So we went to the Hall of Fame in a day and came back. Yeah. So for where we live in Massachusetts, that's a 6-hour drive if you don't stop.
Would you leave at 4 in the morning?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. We left at 4. We got there around 10:30, 11. We hung out there for like 3-4 hours. And then we drove back, and we got back around like 9 o'clock at night.
That's a long ass day.
And this is how long ago it was. There was still a Roy Rogers on the Mass Pike.
Okay, all right.
So we stopped at a Roy Rogers, and I remember getting a ham and cheese sandwich under a lamp. Like I didn't even get like a real like Roy Rogers. Have you ever been to a Roy Rogers?
I've never been to a Roy Rogers, but I can still see the sign. I remember it, but I've never actually been to one, or I might have and just not remember.
They're huge down in like Maryland still.
Yeah.
So when I went down to DC, this was about 10 years ago. My wife and I were staying at a hotel. Right across from us was a Roy Rogers, and I was like, "We're obviously gonna have to get Roy Rogers." It is like Wendy's if Wendy's was like 5 times better. At least that was my experience. So like if you were trying to compare food items and everything, it's like it kind of reminds you of like a Wendy's, but then you eat it and you're like, "This is way better than Wendy's. This
ham
awesome."
sandwich is amazing.
Even if I got like straight burger. Okay, so I was like this time I was like, no, I want a straight burger. But the one thing I remember about Cooperstown was when you get to the staircase and they have the life-size statues of Babe Ruth and Ted Williams.
I completely forgot anything about that, but now I can.
There was some photo in a photo album that my mom probably has floating around of my dad took a picture of me on the stairs, and that was at the end of summer. So I was very well. I am one of the few in my family that tans very well, and I'm pretty sure I could pass as Puerto Rican. So yeah. So, like, you see me, like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this Hispanic young boy? Young boy
it's
here.
Funny because
like,
I have a picture from Cooperstown. You look at it, you're like, that was pretty dark in that picture.
That tint is incredible, Bob. Like, how did that? It's like it's a whole summer worth of getting a suntan.
Yeah.
I remember the is it the All Americans woman? I forget how to say it, but the women's baseball league, like that, they had their own section.
I don't remember.
And this was right after A League of Their Own, but it was like 3 years after they created it, so that was pretty cool.
I can tell you, I probably bypassed that.
It's fine. The one thing that sticks out for me is on the top floor, they had the rarities. They had the rarities area on the top floor, and I got to see, like, I was probably this far away from a legitimate Rogers Hornsby card.
This is why I have to go back.
Yes.
I remember none of this.
Yes, but
I remember a few of the restaurants outside. I remember the place where they had at the time. This is obviously before
it's like the seventh inning stretch in. Yeah. It looks like, I love the fact that everything's named like baseball, and of course.
But it was. I remember going through there and just the plethora of T-shirts of MLB players that you couldn't get anywhere else, and I loved that. But that's,
for people who don't know, Mike is a collector. He's a collector,
and it was amazing. I still have some shirts from that day.
Which ones?
Ozzie Smith.
That's a good one to
George
have.
Brett. Roberto Clemente.
That's another. Also, all three home runs.
Those are the three that I know, but I'm 100% for sure on those three.
George Brett, Royal Blue.
Yes.
With like the light colored blue.
Yes.
Natural. That's what I would have done as well. Ozzie.
White.
I was gonna say white or the gray.
No, it was white.
Okay, good. And then Clemente.
Black.
The black with the stripes, or just straight black?
Straight black.
Oh, that's another good one too. Nicely done, Mike. I like that. Yeah, I think I still don't watch a lot of baseball, but I do watch enough that I appreciate the pitch clock. I appreciate what it has done.
I mean, I don't want to say it's game saving, but it's time saving. And
yes.
It's keeping the interest, because before, when it was a 4-hour game, it was awful.
No, and the thing, this is where baseball and hockey are similar. When it gets to the postseason, second to none. The way it is.
All in any sport in the postseason.
Yep. But it's just to me, it's something about baseball and hockey. It just feels like the emotion's there for every sport. I agree, but it's just something about, like, bases loaded, 3-2 count, like, and you want that zoom in on the pitcher because you want to see, does this guy have the stones to handle the moment?
Yeah.
And then you want to see the zoom in on the hitter. Does the hitter have the zoom? Does he have the stones? Then you want to zoom in on the umpire. How are you going to fucking? No, I'm just kidding. Like, but like, does the umpire? Does everybody understand the weight of the moment? And it's just it's great. And speaking of hockey, I know we don't. We have a team that's lost 8 in a row. It's the first time they've been this terrible in a generation. And that makes me feel good on the one hand. On the other hand, where do they go?
I have no idea what this team's going to do or what they're going to. I don't have an answer. We're tied up in Swayman, who looks to be absolutely horrible. I don't know.
Do you think he's recoverable? Like, do you think it could be just like, because of how everything was the off season, because of a lot of stuff behind the scenes, like it's a blip? Or do you feel like...
I was never a Swayman fan though, Bob. So it's like I could have seen this coming. I think I talked about this all the time. This is awful. Swayman, I had a little glimmer of hope of him in that Toronto series until I remembered it was all Toronto.
You were like, oh.
It's all Toronto. Swayman didn't... And I don't care what you said. Swayman didn't win us that series. Toronto lost that series.
Yeah, and then you look on the flip side, the next series against Florida.
Done.
Yeah.
I've never thought he had the stones.
What was your cutoff as far as money for him?
$6 million.
Yeah, I'm like 6.25. Like, if that was like gets beyond that, I'm like, I don't want to pay some guy who's never been a goalie for more than like 40 games in a season.
Even that, he was the guy I wanted traded. I wanted to keep Olmark.
Yeah, I think he's shown that he's emotionally fragile. And I know people will say historically, like, goalies are finicky and all that, but there's another level to the fragility of him that, you know what it actually makes me say? I hate the fact I'm fucking saying this. I miss Tuukka.
I don't.
Because he was fragile, but he wasn't this fragile.
No, because he could never win you the big game.
He never could.
No.
He never could. And the thing that always the thing that always is not fair to any goalie is Tim Thomas.
Yeah.
Because Tim Thomas was nails. And people don't believe me, but if you look at that postseason, it's not just that I think it's the greatest goalie postseason run in the last like 35 years. It is. Yeah. It statistically it passes the eye test. The only one that comes close was Jonathan Quick the next season, but it doesn't surpass it. Tim Thomas is the reason we beat the Canucks in the Stanley Cup Finals, single-handedly.
Just the way that he approached and played the game. He took risks, and it paid off.
Mm-hmm.
So
he did. He got into Roberto Luongo's head without even the press conference.
Yeah,
he got into his head by the way he played.
Yep. He was super aggressive, and it paid off.
And I love that team. I'm not asking us to rebuild that team because you can't rebuild teams in the first and foremost. The league is different now, but I'm sick and tired of having Don Sweeney / Cam Neely just seeing the last team that beat us and thinking that's how we have to beat it. Or, no, how about you
But even if you
build a team and chemistry?
We've built a team with chemistry. And where did that get us? It got us a championship. Got us a Stanley Cup. And then it just got us years of mediocrity.
It got us years of basically what a Bruins team under the Jacobs is.
Yeah.
And I'll give them credit. Post-lockout, they started to pay more.
Yep.
NHL is a hard cap league. It's not like the NFL, and the NFL is the redheaded stepchild that's just getting beaten to death.
It's the one league you can't fudge.
Exactly. You can do certain things, but at some point you're paying hard money.
Even more with Swayman, because we're screwed now.
Yes, we are.
Screwed.
Not saying anyone will ever trade for him because we're going to have to eat and when I say eat salary, I honestly think you would have to eat like 35 to 40% of that salary.
That's why I say just let him rot in Providence.
Because I was fine with it's a Corpusalo?
Yeah.
Corpusalo and Brandon Bussi or DiPietro. I always want to say DiPietro.
I think you nailed the name.
Yeah. Either one of them with Corpusalo, I think I would have been okay.
Serviceable.
This
and that's
team,
all we need.
by the way, this team is the record's probably a little bit better. It's still not going to be great, but it's probably a little bit better with those goals. Because
at that point, you'd want it to be the record we have now to hopefully get us a little bit higher draft pick.
Yeah. I'm still someone who's in the boat, by the way, of that. And I know we can't anymore because so many stuff has kicked in as far as no movements. But I'm a person that would be a fan of moving some like McAvoy too. I know we can't.
Yeah.
But and I say that because I just think he reached his peak and he had a little step down. I think it was injury related. I don't think he's ever been the same. I said this when we were on before. I don't think he's ever been the same since the shoulder issue. In
had
22
a nice donation run.
Yeah, exactly.
When he had something to play for.
And then he had that happen too. But he's never been the same. And he's still okay, but is he like 9 million okay?
No.
And that's the thing where it's like, okay, but I understand when we gave him the contract, he still was on the trajectory.
The problem is, and it all starts with Sweeney. What are you going to do? You going to trade away and get draft picks?
I don't.
Because everything that we just did on paper looks good, but Sweeney's track record is we can't draft. So what is the point of getting all these draft picks?
People hate hearing about the 2015 draft, and I think it deserves purpose to continually bring up.
Yeah.
You could have added
a slew of players, Bob.
If you could have added...
I don't say that word often. Slew.
And I know, I'm trying to think of them because they're all like incredible. All the 3 players that went. Barzal.
Yep.
Could have added Barzal. You could say whatever you want. I understand. He's an undersized center, but he's still a point-per-game guy. You could have added him. I'll have to talk to people about how I sat on the cord and unplugged the recorder. But luckily, yeah, we saved it.
That was awesome.
Catastrophe
averted. Yes,
catastrophe averted. Thank Rode. Thank Rode, which sets up everything I have here. I got the Rode. Have you seen the new one, by the way?
No.
So they made one that's half this size. And that one can...
Oh, I'm lying. I have seen that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they have the one where you can do like the live casting. So it's more for like video podcasting. And then, but they have... Rode is like expanding. I'm good with this because this can do all that stuff. It's just a lot of like these could actually, if I had multiple cameras, I could...
That's awesome.
I could program them in. It would record the audio through this interface into the recordings on there. And then I could like literally hit these. And it would go to different cameras and stuff. And
I'm still in the Stone Age with how I do things. And it's like we had a guest on who also has another podcast, and he was just like, "This is impressive because of how you were able to put this on." And I thought you had a lot more equipment.
Yeah, but,
like,
but that's the beauty. Like, because I know, like, the what I gave you, that's the reason I got it first and foremost. I was like, it's small, it's portable, it can do a ton, and it's good. It's good.
They're like, where's your computer? And I'm like, oh, it's over there. You don't use it? I'm like, I haven't figured out how.
And to use a computer in here, I'd have to get boosters. I'd have to get boosters for the signal. I'd also have to figure out my mom's password, which I think is her cat's name. But like, whatever. I digress. We were talking about the awfulness of that is the Boston Bruins and how we have no faith.
So with Swayman, right? To go back on that.
Yep.
You know why I hate him the most now? Is because last year I bought in a little bit and it's on tape. Me supporting him.
Oh, so you're like, it's gonna live on forever.
And I should have just stuck to my guns with how I am not a fan of him.
Yeah,
because it just.
Well, I get it. I get it.
He made me buy in for a round, and it just pisses me off.
I was a fan of his until I realized that he was gonna get a lot of money, and then I was like, I don't like him that much. He's a part of a tandem, great tandem, but he's a part of a tandem, and he hasn't shown that he can exist
on his own
away from that. And that's why on your podcast I did when it was maybe last week, not this past week, the week before that, I was really hampering home that stat about him in the third game.
Yep.
Like it is your eyes go this big when you're like, he sucks something awful in the third games.
It's ridiculous.
Like,
it's just, I don't know. And that goes back to where you started this. What are they going to do? And I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't have any idea
can't
either.
figure out what direction they're going to go this offseason. I'm at a loss of words. I mean, we just proved last year, like, yeah, we signed a couple of guys that I liked that turned out to suck. So I'm like, now we can't even sign good players. We can't draft good players, this team. And
the sad thing is they're going to get another year, at least.
Yeah.
And
you can't fire him after what he just did.
No.
You can't. You got to see it, as much as it sucks.
See how much he's going to ruin it.
I
hate to put it that way, but it's true.
And you got to give the plan a chance.
Yeah.
So we go into next year and nothing's done. They can't not fire this guy.
Speaking of that, and this is going back to what we started talking about earlier, are you surprised that they fired Mayo like after just one and done?
Yes,
me too.
And it's solely on the fact of Kraft's ego.
Yeah, yeah, because he has to admit from a financial standpoint, because unlike players, you got to pay coaches.
Yeah,
and also from just a part of the ego thing is like, this was my golden disciple, who was going to take us back to the promised land, and you have to admit, after one season, literally after an hour after the last game, and I know the decision was likely made before that, but still to do it like that, yep, I didn't think they would.
No, I thought we would have to sit through another insufferable season with this guy,
and
just because of his he was on, what was it, one of the Monday Night Football games earlier in the year, talking about how great Mayo is, and this was his guy, and he's known for so long, like doubling down on his bad pick. And I'm just like, every time, like that was in the back of my head going, we're stuck with him again. We're going to. So it really, when it actually, I know there was a lot of talk about him getting fired.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it, and I still didn't 100% believe it. When it happened, I was like,
shock. Oh, yeah, I was like, oh, I did not see that coming. No, I didn't.
I mean, we saw it coming, but we didn't think it would actually happen.
Yeah, I think a better way to put it is we saw the reasons he should be fired, but we didn't think he was actually going to get fired until like he'd get like at least another half season.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And I mean, on the one hand, kudos to them. On the other hand, I think they make themselves look terrible. Not just because there's many things they've done that have made them look terrible.
But even with the Vrabel stuff, Bob, history repeats itself. They basically already made their minds up about Vrabel.
Oh yeah, they made him up as soon as he became available, and then they had buyer's remorse about Mayo, and then they did a terrible, which it truly is a terrible thing. I am a person that thinks the Rooney Rule. I understand why it's in place. It shows that it's a mockery. Like everyone makes a mockery of it, but nothing to me screamed mockery as much as what they did with it. Let's bring in
Zoom interviews.
Yeah, and let's bring in these guys who have a snowball's chance in hell of ever being a head coach, just so we can meet the rule.
And there were other guys out there that.
And kudos to the guy who became the Jets head coach, because he told them to go fuck themselves.
Yep.
God, bravo to you, Aaron. Like I'm glad you did that. As someone who's a Patriots fan, I'm glad you did that because you understood like that it's just a bullshit thing to make them look better.
And Ben Johnson went through with the sham.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He was here. You know, they paraded him into the office. Yeah. He was in and out in under an hour.
Oh, shock of all shocks there. Yeah.
Like ridiculous.
Yeah. How do you think he's going to do?
Okay. They immediately addressed the need, that offensive line to
Yep.
And I mean, they've put together a good offensive line. And that was one of their glaring holes last year. Caleb Williams was running for his life. There's endless tape on him getting slammed. I think I put together several reels, and it was just it wasn't very hard to find footage of him getting slammed to the ground.
No, it wasn't.
So they addressed that right away, which, kudos to them. Ben Johnson, and they have a good team still around him, that if he can stay up on his feet and he can prove to be somewhat of that quarterback that everyone thought he could be, this is going to be a home run for Johnson.
What do you think the ceiling is for Caleb Williams with Ben Johnson?
It's going to be a long delay because I don't know. I don't see them as a Super Bowl. It's hard to picture him ever as a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
The thing I tried to tell people about Caleb Williams is he was the most physically talented of the three quarterbacks. That's true. However, the way he played at USC, that does not translate to the NFL,
right? Because
the talent gap closes significantly, if not gets minimized to some degree. So to me, I didn't write him off. I just said he has to learn how to take his skills, but also mold his game to the NFL game. And that was what I questioned, because that's up here. And that was the big question I had about him, was just his mentals. I thought Jaden Daniels was the most ready of the three right off the bat. He showed it, but
I loved him. That was the guy I wanted.
I wanted him too. And I liked Drake May. I just thought he was raw. Compared to the other three, he was raw.
Yes. And I still think Jaden Daniels had an unbelievable year last year, but I feel the same way about quarterbacks as I do pitchers. I need 2 solid years before I can crown them.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because there's been so many times a quarterback has come out and been like, wow.
Flash in the pan.
Yep. And then nothing. And then mediocrity.
Yep. Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is a great example of that. I think I'm trying to think. Like, I don't think CJ Stroud did that, because I thought I saw it with him when he was at Ohio State. Like, I saw enough where I was like, this guy, he sees the game differently.
You saw it just this year in the playoffs,
and you saw him. I saw him battle in this whole last season. He had a down year, but you saw him fight through it. I was like, all right, so now he's got the mental toughness too. Check that off.
Even with the crying with Tank Dell.
Yes. Yes.
Because
it's a bad look, but I actually was like, that's a good leader.
Yeah. I hate to say, because we tore on him on the show about him crying, and at one side, it's like, okay, like, what are you doing? And on the other, like, I mean, he's emotion.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hinder, like, he's a grown man. His feelings are out.
We're
tearing on him for crying and showing.
We all want, like, Tom Brady, like the way because
I hated Tom Brady.
I know. I'm just saying, but you also respected the fact that, like, I know why you respect, like, I know why you hate him. I know why you hate him. I'm just saying, and I don't even mean that. I don't even mean that game. I just mean, like, the fact that he could sit there on a sideline.
He was a robot,
and he could yell, but then, like, everyone focuses on the yelling, but how much do they focus on him meeting with his offensive line and saying, guys, okay, here's what I'm seeing. What are you seeing? Let's do that. That's the stuff that Peyton Manning did. I also love that soundbite of him and Jeff Saturday. Just go, when I say block. like.
But you ever notice? I think Peyton Manning's teammates loved Peyton Manning more because Peyton Manning was a human.
Yes, yeah, he was one of the guys.
Yeah,
he's one of the guys. As far as NFL players, no one's ever going to top him on SNL. No, it was incredible.
I've always thought he was funny.
When he was playing catch with those kids and literally and he gets down on one knee and he's like basically telling one kid, stop making me look bad. All right. And he's like, now get the fuck out of here. And then, like, later on, like, he's literally sitting drinking a beer with them. Like, be like, I'm not saying I'll kill a guy. I'm like, all right.
Hear me out with Peyton Manning. I think what makes him funnier is that you don't expect him to be.
No, yeah.
Even now that you know that he's funny, you look at him. And then he's still surprised, even with his brother.
He's got to carry Eli. He's got to get it out of Eli. Eli's good, but you could tell, like, Eli is a little stiff.
Yeah.
But you could tell, like, Peyton's like, no, we're just two brothers. Like, we were kids. Like, we're kids, asshole. Come on. And you see Eli loosen up, and it's like, and that's more has as much, I think, feel to do about Peyton.
And I love that Eli is running wild with him owning Brady.
Yes, trolling. Yeah. Yeah. Just so the record shows, Brady's great unless he played a Manning. And I would always say, too, like the joke that Peyton Manning told on SNL about hey, what does Tom Brady have in common with the 3-ring circus? Or with the circus? They both got 2 more rings than you got. And he was just like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. When we whoop his ass next year, then he'll have 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how wild is that? The Mannings have 4.
And they may continue with that legacy.
I know. I was going to say,
people want to knock that kid. He's got it in his blood. He's got that DNA.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he's going to eventually be the number 1 pick.
Mm-hmm.
You can't not. I mean, we witnessed it watching him last year. Like, he's got it. He's going to continue.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he would be the 4th Manning to go number 1 overall. Did Archie go number 1?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, Peyton obviously went number 1. Eli did. I don't count the trade back. Like, he was taken 1st overall, even though he was traded, whatever. That's something I'll have to look into. If Archie was, if the Saints took him number 1 overall.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Could you imagine that? Like, as far as a family lineage?
Yeah, you know what? Now I want to know. So I'm going to look it up.
That's fine. That's fine. Look it away. I did want the Patriots to take him. But I was like, but that means that we'd have to go through at least 1, maybe 2 more seasons of this. And I would be like, that means 1 or 2 more seasons of
that would mean Drake May would have to have an awful sophomore year.
I know.
Oh, you know what? There's absolutely no service.
Let me be the one to because I think I do have service. So I can I can look that.
But that would I don't want that to happen because I don't want to go through these crappy years that we've gone through.
Yes.
Like we just talked about, we're looking forward to this year next year. We have a lot of new weapons. So, and hopefully it's still going to continue.
We're almost
Did you get the service?
I have the service, yeah. Oh, he was the 2nd overall pick.
You were so close.
I know I was.
All right, we can see the 4th Manning to go top 3.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Or you could just say like
top 2.
Top 2. Top 2. You can bring that up on the show next week. That'd be awesome. Like, look at this little factoid we got with Bob. Like, that's incredible. Like, we could have 4 Mannings that were drafted either 1 or 2, like within the last 50 some odd years.
Yeah, like crazy.
Awesome. So what is new for the Probably Wrong podcast, or what do you have got going on behind the scenes? I know that we talked off the air, but you're doing a meet and greet.
Yes.
And
very much looking forward to this.
And I'm very much looking forward to the fact that it is like going to be in the afternoon, evening-ish. So I'm
purposely done to get me out.
That's right. So I can leave before I turn into a pumpkin. Like I was telling you, Mike, off the air, I have a friend. Literally, like, it starts with like, yeah, let's go out at 9, and I'm just like dying inside because I'm like, no, I don't have it.
The wife and I talk about this all the time. Like, can you remember the days that it was like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we were going out?
Yes.
Like, yes. I'd come to pick you up, or we'd leave the house and we'd go out. Now I cringe at the thought.
Yeah,
absolutely cringe.
7 is my cutoff. If it's not like starting at 7. I'm at that point where I'm like, don't even like contact.
You're a better man than me.
Like, and because I also remember, like, because it wasn't that long ago where I could look at like, oh, our night's starting at 11.
I know.
And I'm like, I look at that now and I go, how did I do that? How did I survive? This is also someone, by the way, some people do ask me that I know. They just assume that I completely abstain from alcohol. I don't. I'm legitimately a social drinker now. I can go out and have like 1 or 2 drinks and be like fine over the course of like 3 hours. Like, just have something in front of me. And I have friends who are like, "Why are you drinking so slow?" And I'm like, "We're just socially hanging out, right?" And it's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Then what does it matter?"
I don't need to.
Yeah. What does it matter? And if I don't, like, it's like, okay. And speaking of that, by the way, because my wife is getting ready for another bodybuilding competition, and she has a really awesome coach now. He doesn't just like deprive her of food. He like will look at her metrics. She'll send him pictures of just how it's coming together. And the last, not yesterday, but the last 2 Saturdays, he gave her cheat days. And she's like, I want to go to a steakhouse. And I'm like, all right, that's fine. So this wasn't a steakhouse. We went to Applebee's.
Oh, yeah.
And they have
how you declare that wasn't a steakhouse.
Yeah. They serve steak. It is not a steakhouse. No. The Longhorn, we went to the Longhorn before that. That is more of a steakhouse than Applebee's. It's questionable whether the Longhorn is a steakhouse, but.
All right, we can get back. Go with your story. I'll tell you.
So on the Applebee's menu, they are promoting an alcoholic drink. It is the tequila that Ryan Cranston and Aaron Paul make.
Yep. Okay.
This was a drink with their tequila mixed with does The Rock make tequila?
Yes, he does. So
it was both of their tequilas with blue curacao.
Oh, no shit.
So I was like, I'll get it. Boy, did I regret that from the first sip. I'm sure I more blame it on the mixer because like literally I said to my wife, I was like, here, try this. And she was like, woo. And because it was like, it's like, what did you guys just put like blue food coloring in this thing? And it's like all two different kinds of tequila. And that was the other thing too, like, because it wasn't mixed very well, you could clearly taste two distinct tequilas that get their, like the sugar element from two different elements. And it just is like
Bob, it's been almost 4 years since I've drank. So I wouldn't even be able to, this last summer, I had my first sip of alcohol because I was like, you know what? The Twisted Teas.
Yeah.
We were on the golf course.
Yep.
And I'm like, the can was sitting there and the perspiration was dripping down the can.
You were sold by the marketing that the environment was
and
giving.
Everybody's drinking them. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have one. You know, it's medical reasons why I don't drink.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to have one. I took one sip and I'm like, it's been so long. So when you're talking about this tequila, I would have just smelt it and I wouldn't even been able to come close to it.
And I left probably 3 sips in it. But I did when the waitress came back around. I was like, "Could I get a Pepsi, please?" And I literally, so I was just chasing it with Pepsi. Like, and I don't even like. Some people I told that story to that are still like drinkers. They're like, "Oh, how does it make you feel?" I'm like, "Nothing. It tastes like shit." You would have been like, "I hate this," and then you would have just like chugged it down. I'm like, I'm not chugging something anymore. I personally, I can't drink beer anymore. Like that's like it fucks up my GI tract. I don't know what, like if it's just the yeast or whatever it is. But So if I go out, I am a proud card-carrying member of someone. I will get like sangrias, which is like wine light.
Yeah, my wife drinks them. I say,
So there are some times where I say, "Yeah, how does it feel? How does it feel?"
My wife and my mother drink those.
How does it feel self to know you're pretending to drink? But I'll drink like high noons. Like I'll drink the seltzer stuff because that my GI can handle that stuff. But I really don't have like an inkling to get like drunk.
No,
anymore.
Not at all.
All
the time because I'll have inkling because I look at like the high noons and what's the other one that comes in the fancy can like the high noon?
Truly's.
No, not the seltzer. Tony and Dave talk about them on the show all the time.
Is it like the margarita stuff that Bud Light does, or
I can't remember, but it's another can like that I'm like, oh no, I don't want it. No, I think I go out and you know what my big thing is when I go out? Diet Pepsis.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like
I look forward to it. I can't that night our outing. I'm gonna be down in Diet Pepsi, so I can't wait.
Yeah, that one I will in all likelihood I will get a drink, but it's like literally just one drink. Like the thing that I always put it back on like certain friends I have when they point out like if I am drinking an alcoholic beverage like that it bothers them how slow I drink it. I always say like, well, why does it bother you? like that I'm drinking at one pace and I'm like, do you need me to drink at your pace so you can drink more? And I get into like that 100%. Stuff. I know that's what it is. I just on the low, I like to make it uncomfortable for them.
I was that guy that I even to this day, I'm not a sipper. I down it. What is your problem? Like, keep up.
There was Winter Classic, the first Winter Classic. I was probably 27 and it was New Year's Day. So New Year's Eve was the night before. I was fucking crushing. This was back when I had my own little like shaker.
Yeah.
And so I just kept making at this party Washington apple shots. And we got obliterated on Washington.
Great drink.
I know, yeah. We just got obliterated on it. So we showed up at JP Ryan's. I love JP Ryan's. I don't go anymore because just where I live. But it's like Cheers for me.
It was old stomping ground. I loved it.
I could still go in there and Brian, who's one of the owners and bartenders, could see me. But Bob, how's life down in Fall River? How you doing? I'm good to see you. And then one of my buddies can walk in who comes in all the time and he's like, hey, fuckface. Like, and I'm like, yeah, thanks. But we went there. We're all obviously hungover and a lot of people drinking Bloody Marys. I think I look at a Bloody Mary and that makes me want to gag.
Right now, I just cringe.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, Bloody Marys make me gag.
I just hate vegetables, Bob, so that even keys in more.
I don't. My wife and I had this conversation like a couple days ago about like that, like a celery stick. What the fuck's with the celery stick? But I just you're in an Irish bar, so I got Guinness. So I remember the first 2 to 3 Guinness, that was rough. Like I remember being like, but then like. I got a buzz, and then I got what I call the drinker's high, where you're not getting like that hammered feeling.
Yeah.
But you can just drink and drink and drink and drink. So when we got the bill, whoever got the bill first was like, which fucking maniac sat here and downed 14 pints of Guinness? And I literally was like,
counting.
That was like me. And whoever it was, he like looked at me, he goes,
that's impressive.
Yeah, he's like, I respect that. He was like, I respect that. Like, I know you were getting out hammered last night. You were hungover, and you like.
He must have been so full.
Like, I was very late. I had all my nutrients. I did not have to worry about nutrients that day. So, I look back at stuff like that, and I still see like people I know that can do that stuff, and I go, how? I was like, how? Now, yeah. Sadly, we're at that age where I go, how is your liver? How is your liver?
And it's funny now because we're at that age. I start seeing more and more friends be like, oh, I don't drink anymore.
Yeah.
I don't drink anymore.
Yep.
I don't drink anymore. And I'm like, yeah, it's.
Yeah. I had I went to, last year, a friend of mine asked me about going to see Gary Newman.
I have no idea. Okay.
Cars.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So, and then Ministry. He was opening up for Ministry.
Oh, shit.
So
Okay.
I was like, that's a fucking awesome show. I the older I get, the less I want to go to that. So I was like, sure. And we went to the Roadrunner, the new music. It's a new music venue by the New Balance building.
Okay.
And headquarters. It's like the House of Blues. Awesome. It's an awesome place to go. And we were just talking. We were at an Irish pub. We're drinking Guinness, but we're just talking and just kind of talking about like people we know and like medical conditions they have because of just not living great lives. And we were both just kind of like. And I said to him, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure my drinking days are over. And like, it's not like I'm sad or anything. It's just is what it is. Like, I'm on to something else. Like, I'm like podcasting, for example. Podcasting. But like he was like, yeah, like, no, I don't want to be like them. I don't want to be like 50 years old and have like congestive heart failure. And I was like, no, neither do I.
It's amazing too. Like when you go in with your ailments, like, well, do you drink? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. So then we can't just cross it off as it's because you drink.
Yeah. And that's the other thing as I've gotten older, I have said to some of my friends, like, hey guys, question. Can we do anything where like the point isn't to go out drinking alcohol? Like,
Bob, it's hard.
And it is.
It took me a few years, longer than a few years to actually be comfortable out. And that's when you know you don't need to drink anymore, when you're comfortable out. And you're like, oh. Yeah.
Do you know what that was? One of those moments for me was actually, have you been to Topgolf?
No, not yet.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. If you brought like your son, they can do different, like they have a Sonic.
Oh shit.
They have a Sonic one. So like you can watch on the screen after you hit the ball and it like, your son would love.
Bob, I was thinking burgers.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Sorry. But they do have good food. They do have awesome food too. But there's stuff for like kids so that like you can change. So they have like an Angry Bird setting. That one's awful. Don't do that one if you ever bring your son. The Sonic one, he probably would get a kick out of. But we got there and it was like 9 a.m. And some people were already asking for like, all right, I want a beer. I want all this. And they were like, in the Commonwealth, we cannot start serving you till 10. And I'm literally there, like, and there were a couple, like, it was kind of like split. So there was some of us who didn't drink. And I was like, I will have a glass of your finest coffee. And then come to find out when the bill came that a cup of coffee at Topgolf costs more than a Guinness. Oof. And I was like, and that was one of the moments where I was like, I may have made the poor choice. Nah. But
you're right, because you switched, because now I'm like, I love coffee. And we're going like, oh, I'll have a coffee.
Exactly.
Like when we leave this and I go home, I'm going to have a coffee.
Oh yeah. And I'll probably have a coffee before I go grocery shopping when I leave here. I mean, yeah, but that's just what, like, like we're pretty much talking about, we're getting older, priorities are changing, but we still have the perspective. And so, but going out for that is a celebratory thing. So that's something that deserves.
I can't wait.
Deserves a finest thing of Truly or a High Noon. Like I could have that too, and then just get to meet people in person.
And that's what I'm looking for, because I am no longer a social butterfly.
Oh,
It is very hard to get me out of my house nowadays. So
that's the other thing friends of mine don't understand. They don't understand that, like, I'm completely content, like, being, like, at home.
Yeah. And I have no problem telling people no. Yeah. Like, I don't have to come up with excuses. I'm just like, no, I'm not going.
Yeah. my favorite is when somebody hits me up on, like, a Friday and I'm still at work and they're like, you want to go out? And I'm like, so I'm still working. I have to drive an hour home. And by that point, it'll be 8 o'clock. So no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. But they'll do that. They don't get the hint. They'll ask me, like, the next week. And I'm like, when are you going to get the hint? Like, I'm saying no. So I'm going to keep saying no. Like, I've also laid out for you why I'm saying no. Like,
see, I don't even give that. I just, no, absolutely not. No. It's even getting harder now to go into the city for games. Because I'm like,
are you, like, grouchy like me? Like, you're just like, listen, there's going to be traffic. There's going to be younger people. They're going to be just being younger people.
I really have to gear myself up. So this year we're actually the one of the guys that watches the show. We're friends with, and we were talking about going to a Red Sox game, and he was able to. He's getting us tickets. We're all going to go, and I'm like, okay, I have to mentally prepare for this.
Yep. Yep. I've already told half the group that I'm going with. I'm like, once this game is over, I'm on the train and I'm out. Yeah. Like, I'm not. If you guys want to hang out, have fun. I'm out. Yeah. What if the game ends at 1? All right, I'll get home by 3. Like, okay, I win. I'm like, you guys are risking, and this is old person mind here. You guys are risking the crowd leaving the game that will start to mingle, because Boylston Street is not that far away where the marathon ends, with at that point, the tens of thousands of people that you then are going to be fighting on the mass transit system, or if you drive into the game, to get out of there with.
Well, I'll never see a game go into overtime anymore or to extra innings. I used to be the guy that would be the last one out of there. Now I'm like, okay, 5 minutes left. I got to go.
Yep. We got to time this right. I want to maximize how much of this I can see while beating everybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I'm like that too.
Same thing. Like, I don't go to concerts anymore. As I say that, I'm just remembering that I'm actually going to a concert this year. And I'm like, if we all drive together, I have to make sure they're all on board that I am leaving and not going out or later.
In the last 2 years, so last year I went and saw Missy with my wife. Huh? We saw Missy. She incredible. Busta Rhymes was on the bill. Timbaland was on the bill. Don't ask me why. What's her name? She's married to Russell Wilson.
Sierra.
Yeah, she was on the bill. Ask me why the order went Timbaland, Busta Rhymes, Sierra, and then Missy Elliott.
I don't understand.
I don't understand it either.
Sounds like a great show, but something that I would never want to go see.
It was awesome. I'm glad I can say I did it. And then I've gone to other shows, all sober, and I forgot, like, how much I enjoyed going to, like, a concert sober. Because I sadly I don't remember the last time, like, before. It was like 2023. My wife wanted to go see Disturbed, so I was like, yeah, we'll go see Disturbed. That's fine. And sober the whole way. I lived dangerously. I drank liquid death. Which is just water.
I love it.
Yeah, which is just water. It just sounds like dangerous
cool
water.
Cool can, though.
Yeah, it is a cool can. I don't know if it was worth $17, but it was a cool can or whatever it was. But I just remember how much I enjoyed the experience of being somewhere where you're just like getting into the music, and like you're not impaired.
This will be the first show that I've ever gone to.
Really?
Not drinking. One, I don't like crowds anymore. Two, I'm all set with going to see any of this. This just happens to be an artist that a couple of us buddies have liked since he first grew up. Mm-hmm. Not grew up, but came out. We've kind of all, like, bonded is not the right word, but we all like this guy. Mm-hmm. And he's playing at that new MGM in Fenway.
Oh, yeah.
Which looks like a great venue. So I'm like, and the tickets were not that bad. And I was driving back from Florida as the group text was going out, and I'm like, sure, I'll go, yeah. And then I'm like, this came to a reality. I'm like, okay, I'm going, and the venue looks pretty cool. So
yeah, that does look good. I like, as much as I hate how they run the baseball team, I love what they've done with the area.
Except it's very hard to park.
Yes, it is. Yes,
for a guy like me who doesn't like public transportation.
Besides the fact, yeah, they have a T-stop. I know you won't take it, but they do have a T-stop now. All right, so I think we're at an hour and a half. How about that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
That was,
it
really didn't feel like an hour and a half at all.
I don't think I've ever done an hour and a half show. I think this is the stuff that has scared other people who have wanted to come on. Because they literally like, well, is it going to be like Joe Rogan? I'm like, no, we're not going to be on for 3 hours. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? We're regular people. We have lives. Yeah. I still have to do stuff.
If you wouldn't have told me that time, I thought we would have still been under an hour.
Right, and that's even with us losing the camera and losing the board.
I completely forgot we didn't have the camera anymore.
Yeah, it's fine. I've still been looking at it too. It's all right. But we have about 15 minutes. I can do some fun stuff with that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we could do that. I could share it with you too, so that like you could do some fun stuff with it as well.
That works.
So when it's April 11th.
No. 12th.
April 12th.
April 12th, Saturday. Because it's Saturday night.
That's right, because that was a Friday. I wouldn't do a Friday.
Yeah, no, neither would I.
I'll
tell you, Tony, who first threw this idea out, I believe he calculated to the fact that we do it Saturday.
Yeah.
Mike has kids. He never comes out. If we actually want to do this and we all want to get together, we need to start it at 5 at a family fun place that's very easy for everybody to get to.
Yes, that works very well. Yeah. Well, bravo. So April 12th, Barrett's. The one in West Bridgewater.
The old Charlie horse.
Yep, the old Charlie horse. Just so you know, that's literally like a 15-minute drive for me. People get blown away. They're like, "You live in Fall River. How do you?" I'm like, "You're asking me, who lived right off 24, to go somewhere else right off 24. Now, barring the craziness that 24 is, I can get there in 15 minutes, driving reasonably close to the speed limit. Yes. That's where I definitely would love to be, hang out. Good time. Get to see the people on the Probably Wrong.
We know
podcast.
One person is coming.
Hey, all right. And if it's that one, I'll make it a hell of a run.
It's gonna be fun.
I will make that one high noon I have last as long as you can make a high noon last.
I'll probably have 3 Diet Pepsis down by the time we finish that.
There you go. But trust me, the high noon will quickly be followed by our regular Pepsi, and then all hell will ensue at that point, because then I'll just get wild. No. Again, Mike, thank you very much for coming on.
Pleasure. I love it. I absolutely love chopping it up with you here.
Yes, I will try to do my best to do more of these. I mean, this was the first episode in like 3 months.
I know. I've been waiting for something new to come out.
I love it when you send those. Like, you're like literally just like, I think what was it, the Big Bird? Like Big Bird, like sitting there, like swinging his legs. I'm just sitting here waiting for an episode, Bob. All right. So yeah, until the next time for everybody, take care, everyone. Mike, until the next time, take care as well. And for anybody who listens, if you don't listen to the Probably Wrong podcast, you should. It's fantastic.
It's fun. It's good stuff.
Not just for local, like New England sports, but also for the other times when you do drift from sports a little bit. It happens.
It's general conversation.
Exactly.
That's why I tell people, it's not like some of these people shove facts and opinions down your throat. I'm like, no, it's just...
Or it's just very highly structured.
It's funny because I think she just texted me now going,
where are you? Yeah, where are you? We're wrapping up now.